Hey there, Pathless Peddlers. Today we've got an exclusive shop visit just for you guys. We can get an exclusive tour of the magical wheel building factory that is Sugar Wheel Works here in Portland, Oregon. Hey there, everybody. This is our friend Jude from Sugar Wheel Works, who's a wheel builder and bike advocate extraordinaire. So you've been in business for how long now?
8 years.
8 years. 8 years just building wheels.
Just building wheels.
So of all the different parts of the bike to focus on, why the wheel?
That's a great question. At this time, I'm not sure, but when I first started, I really loved building wheels, and I was really drawn to the methodical process of wheel building, the precision, and the fact that there were so many unanswered questions about wheels, wheel building.
So over the 8 years, do you have any sense of how many wheels you've built? Too many?
Too many. They're definitely in the thousands for sure.
You don't have like a big tally somewhere on the wall for every wheel that you build?
We have a database of wheels, and I'm guessing it's somewhere close to the 8,000 or 9,000 wheels built.
Is there any particular aspect in the wheel building process that you really enjoy?
Things that I love about wheel building, I love building with carbon, because carbon, the sound resonates so much better, and it's much clearer when you are building with sound. I still don't like radial truing, and I still don't like lacing wheels. But I mean, like, on my scale of things I don't like, it's still okay.
There's still a lot worse things.
Yeah.
Let's get a quick tour of your shop.
Okay, over here we've got our quality control station, and we've got our Liza 2, our spoke cutter. We have the 2 build stations up over here. I bet you can't guess how many spokes are in here.
At least more than 10.
At least more than 10, less than 1 million. So
right.
Somewhere in there. Usually by the end of the year, they're right around 20,000 spokes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Of all the wheel building tools you get to use, do you have a personal favorite?
You know, I don't know that I have a personal favorite, but I have a personal set of tools. I still feel a loyalty to like my original set of tools.
So which are those?
Okay, so my wrench was given to me by Gerd Schreiner. He's the one wheel builder for DT Swiss, and he sent me a wrench with my name engraved in it. So this is like one of my most precious possessions.
Nice.
Yoda's the newest stand. I love Yoda, but my my all-time favorite stand here is Helga.
This is Helga?
This is Helga. Helga, smile for the camera. What makes this stand so special is the fact that the link arms move to wherever you need them, and the threads are so fine. It really allows for really quick truing. One day I dropped her. It was the worst, and there's a machine shop in town, and they told me it would cost $800 to fix her, and I was like, oh no, Helga, I think this might be the end. So they said, okay, we'll spend a half an hour on her to straighten her out, and they got her so straight. They had one of the best cold setters in Portland.
So let's get a tour of this little area.
The doodads.
Yeah.
So here we have all of, or some of the hubs that we carry at the shop. People can take them off and play with the engagement mechanism and see how the bearings roll.
What makes a good hub a good hub
Sure.
for like the untrained, typical bike rider?
The best hub is the hub that is
Shiniest.
The best hub is the hub that's right for you. It just depends on who you are. So if you're a heavier rider or have a heavy pedal stroke or are more powerful, there's going to be a different best hub for you than there would be for me. So I'd be looking for a really stiff axle. A non-alloy drive shell goes a long way for someone with a heavy pedal stroke, and you basically want to stabilize the wheel right at the hub.
So I know that a lot of our viewers are into the supple life and love like the big compass tires.
Yeah.
So what rim would you recommend for those riders?
You know, right now that's a really tricky situation, especially for rim brake. For disc brake, there's a lot of rims that we can sort of poach from the mountain biking world that, we've gone through and checked tire sizes or tire pressure widths, so that really work for a wide variety of tire sizes and pressure that really give you that good internal width.
Who's the ideal candidate for a carbon rim?
Someone that
with lots of money.
Yeah. Could you someone who is not price sensitive? Well, I mean, let's take budget out of it. Someone that really wants a supple ride, someone that wants something that's a much lower rotational weight, someone that wants that wider internal width without having to pay the weight penalty of alloy. So for my new bike packing bike, I built up a set of carbon hoops with a 30mm internal width and I strung it to a generator hub. And that to me is like really low rotational weight, super robust, but the bike feels like it's floating, like it's a feather. And I think that's what carbon can offer.
So you've been in business for 8 years, lots of ups and downs. Are you surprised you made it this long? I mean,
Russ, I'm shocked. I always thought, all right, so I start this business at 26. I have enough time to fail before I'm 30, recover and do something else with my life. What I didn't expect was to be moderately successful, which is like the worst kind of success because you're stuck between like actually blowing it out and making it and and not making it at all. So what we have to do is we sort of have to embrace where we're at. And that's what I've probably spent the last 6 months doing, is loving being the size that we're at, how nimble we can be, what we can offer our community, and you know what I can offer other women coming into the bike industry. I am kind of surprised that we have made it this long because it is really, really challenging, and there are so many bumps in the road and so many opportunities to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
Every time when I'm there, like something happens where I'm reminded, either my coworkers remind me or a customer reminds me that, you know, having a good interaction in the bike industry is meaningful, and that's what we really strive for, is not just to build good wheels, but to make it a meaningful experience.
So we live in Portland. There are a ton of bike-themed, bike-related businesses in town, but a lot of them like sputter out and fail like after a couple of years. Like, what are some of like the important lessons that you've learned that's just you know, giving you the longevity to last?
Well, I always say that I'm building a business like a Snickers bar, right? So I have a lot of like long-term goals and visions. And the first is that you have to stay in business. Anytime that you're doing anything artisan where you're requiring trust from the public, the time in business matters the most. How long have you been doing a great job? How long and how many happy customers do you have? And then you can start adding like the fun branding pieces and all of those things that really help reveal the soul of the business.
So it's not just all flashy branding. You've got to have a good product and service the customer well.
Yeah, and you have to be willing to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week for the first 5 years. You have like a new infant for like 5 years. And I mean, that's the hardest part, is dealing with the stress, the insomnia, the not sleeping. Well, that is insomnia. Yeah. Dealing with like all you're sacrificing, always sacrificing. And I think now, being in business 8 years, like I find I'm going home, like I'm only working, you know, 10 to 12 hour days instead of like longer days. And I'm really finding it enjoyable. And that's, you kind of go through a period where you don't enjoy what you're doing, and then you kind of come out of that and you're like, yeah, this is really fun. And you're doing it with people you really like to be doing it with, and it gets better. But there's definitely those between years 3 to 5 that are probably the hardest.
This is something that a lot of people don't talk about, you know, like hashtag living the dream. You know, on the social media, everything looks nice and rosy, and we're kind of constrained to kind of portray that. But there's a lot of work that goes into like having your own business.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything's humming along, and then the OSHA inspector shows up, and now you're working with OSHA.
Hypothetical situation.
Hypothetically, you know, you can know your craft really well, but that's really like probably 1/8 of what you end up doing. The rest of it is, you know, creating a team, creating processes, bookkeeping, cash flow management, networking, being involved in the community, finding out like what connections the community has to you. And I've got to fit that all into like 12 to 14 hours of work a day.
Is there something that the older, wiser Jude would tell the younger upstart Jude 8 years ago? Yeah.
Have more fun, Jude. If they build a time machine, you're going to stress out so much. You're going to be at the studio till 2, 3 in the morning. Alex is going to come and get you. Try to go home by 10 o'clock every night. A good night's sleep and a good meal goes a long way. And get more bike riding in. I don't think that over the years I've taken up a lot of running just now.
Us too, yeah.
Work-life balance, right? 3-hour bike ride or like an hour run. I don't know.
I think that's kind of the irony of the situation. You know, like we started our site in our business, you know, riding bikes, but
Yeah.
riding bikes is such a small part of what we do these days, you know?
I know, right? But I know that it's still like, I can't imagine like my life without my bike. I can't imagine like getting around without my bike. And I really genuinely love hearing the stories of our customers, not just the customers that have our wheels, but of all riders and the joy that it brings them, because it reminds me that bicycling, it has this unique ability to like open us up and connect us, not just to our surroundings, but to one another as well. Was that a little too cheesy? Because it kind of was.
We were going to cue the violin music right there. Well, on that note, I think that's a perfect note to end. Thank you, Jude, so much for the shop visit and the therapy session, I guess. And if you guys are in Portland, Oregon, or if you're looking for your dream wheel build, definitely give Jude a call. If you guys like bike content like this, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.